A bishop was 10 minutes into his sermon, live streaming, gets robbed basically on television by gunmen who run into his church. Here's the video.
How many of you have lost your faith because you saw somebody else die what you about to go through? Yo. All right. Yo, all right.
Everybody stay still. Nobody move. Nobody move.
There's more video. I cannot imagine what that entire congregation was going through when this happened. Remember, there were a significant number of kids inside of that building. Here's one of the gunmen initially running up to the bishop to steal his bling, and a second one comes to clean it up. Here it is. All right, and when this happened, the church was obviously stunned. Here's some of the reaction caught on that camera.
Come on, hustle. Hold me.
Very sad. All right, let me give you some history, some background to this. Bishop Lamor Whitehead is known to be controversial at times. I'm not dealing with his controversy. I'm dealing with the fact that he was preaching his sermon. It's a congregation, and you got people with guns. Children are scared, everybody else. So he's preaching, gunmen walk in, they go directly after him, and they go after his wife, okay? Now, there are those on social media blaming the preacher, saying it is because he wears a lot of jewelry, okay? And for that reason, he was in fact targeted. The bishop was robbed at gunpoint in the middle of his sermon on Sunday in Brooklyn, and it was caught on video. Bishop Lamor Whitehead says 5 to 10 minutes into the sermon, he saw the door in the back of the room kicked open and 3 or 4 men walked in with guns. He believes he was targeted. The station says the service was being live streamed. Whitehead of Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries told CBS News, and I quote, "I said, all right. Pretty much stating that I'm not going to do anything because I know you're coming for me. You're coming straight to me. I don't want my parishioners hurt. I've got women and children there." He explained further and said, "As I got down, one went to my wife and took all her jewelry and had the gun in front of my 8-month-old baby's face, took off my bishop's ring, my wedding band, and took off my bishop's chain. And then I had chains underneath my robe, and he started tapping my neck to see if I had anything else." So that means they knew. They watched and they knew that I have other jewelry. All right, Bishop, you are correct. This was a planned operation. They came in, they knew exactly what to go after, and they were well aware that you had jewelry underneath your ministerial attire. According to one report, they stole $400,000 worth of jewelry off of the pastor. Now, pastor, if you're going to walk around with almost $500,000 of jewelry on, you got to have proper security protocol at your church, dear brother. Do you understand? Okay. There's more. His message to the robbers was actually quite benevolent. The pastor said, "These men, they need to turn themselves in. I forgive you and I'm praying for you. And I hope that God delivers you from the mindset of who you are at this time." And I will say this, if somebody ran up and robbed me in front of my family, I'm not forgiving a damn thing. I'm not that Christian. So no, I forgive nothing if that ever happened to me. And we need to go ahead and take care of this in the criminal justice system. The individuals who did this, they should be held accountable to the law. They should be caught. The bishop actually ran after them once this was done, and he was able to identify their vehicle and identify the direction they went in. Armed robbers made off with $400,000 worth of jewelry, according to Global News, after storming into a church during the live stream. Fascinating stuff here. Okay. It's ironic because typically I'm reporting about how preachers are robbing the church, and this is different. So naturally, children were there. Out of everything that happened and everything that was stolen from the pastor and the first lady, and by the way, they should have commercial insurance. I'm sure this is going to be covered. But the children who have been impacted by this, who saw this, there was one parent who described her little girl is unable to talk. She has gone completely silent after witnessing her pastor being robbed and guns being in the faces of others. All right. Very sad situation. We're going to follow this because I do think they're going to be apprehended pretty soon. All right. Jackson, thoughts here.
Yeah, so I mean, $400,000 worth in jewelry is definitely a big heist. And as you pointed out, you know, they definitely had that plan because they came into the church. They went straight for him. They knew where he had his jewelry, as well as, you know, it's also, we didn't cover, but he drives a Rolls Royce and things like that as well. So, you know, as you pointed out, if you know, no matter who you are, if you're known to be that type of flashy, you know, you're definitely potentially making yourself a target. So it's good that nobody got hurt.
Yep.
But, you know, definitely, hopefully he moves forward with at least some type of security or doesn't, you know, do things quite so flashy. But they made off with a pretty big hit for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're going to keep following the story, bring you the update as it comes.